President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White House puts him once again in a position to influence the makeup of the Supreme Court, the effects of which could be felt for decades. Trump appointed 3 justices during his first term: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, the oldest conservative justices at 76 and 74 respectively, could retire, allowing Trump to nominate younger lifetime replacements. CBS News legal contributor and Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson joins us now. Jessica, how likely is it that Thomas or Alito will step down, and when could that happen?
I think it's not at all outside the realm of possibility. Now, of course, we don't know exactly when, and we know that Supreme Court justices have those positions until they no longer want those positions or until they pass away. But I think that it is, again, maybe more likely than not that we could see at least one vacancy. And for those people saying, well, look at the 2 people on the screen here, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, they're both conservative votes. What difference would it make to appoint another conservative jurist? The answer is really that Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito cannot serve another 30 years on the bench, but whoever replaces them may absolutely be able to do so. And so we're looking here at not necessarily a shift in terms of ideology, but a solidification of that 6-3 majority, or frankly, perhaps a 7-2 majority. It's a macabre business, but we're basically trying to game out who wants to stay and whether or not somebody would create a vacancy not voluntarily.
So let's pull on that thread a little bit. Would that essentially solidify the Dobbs decision for a generation?
I think it would. I mean, I think that decision is arguably solidified for the short term anyway, and maybe the medium term, in the sense that we know that even when the composition of the court changes, they don't always overturn past precedent. Those are 2 different things, right? First, the composition can change. It could become, I don't think in the short term it will, but a more liberal leaning court. But then you need a court willing to overturn a recent decision. And that's also a separate question. Now, are we going to live with the Dobbs decision? I think for the foreseeable future and arguably beyond that, I think the answer is yes.
What are some of the big cases that could go before the Supreme Court in the next year?
So we're looking at cases dealing with Second Amendment rights. We're dealing transgender rights, the power of the administrative state. And I think all of those are areas where it's not just going to be next term, but it's going to be terms from here on out, where we're going to be having a lot of discussion, Lindsay, about the power of the executive branch, how much presidents have power to issue executive orders, and the play between the tension of our 3 branches. The big thing we all need to look for in the next 4 years is, what does the federal judiciary do? And how much, if at all, do they stand in the way of what a Trump administration might want to accomplish?
In the minute or so that I have left with you, who could you potentially foresee Trump choosing to appoint?
So this is, I know everybody wants a name here. I think a few names. We've looked at a 5th Circuit judge named James Ho. He has made a number of decisions that were favorable to the Trump administration and or not favorable to the Biden administration. He's known as a very conservative jurist. He was talked about for the opening that Judge Amy Coney Barrett ultimately filled. There's also a district court judge, Lindsay, that we've talked about a lot, named Eileen Cannon. She's the judge who oversaw the Mar-a-Lago case, and she made a number of decisions that were favorable to Trump. Exactly. She dismissed it, saying special counsel Jack Smith was not properly appointed. So those are 2 names we're hearing. We all need to remember it could be somebody who we're not even thinking about right now.
Jessica Levinson, thank you.